Yeah, Shivani Mati, when you're ready, you can start, Mati.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktirvapti Nashtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6. Prahlada instructs his demonic schoolmates, verse 28 to 30. Text 20 to 23rd. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, who is the infallible and indefatigable, is present in different forms of life, from the inert living being, Sthavara, such as the plants, to Brahma, the foremost created living being. He is also present in the varieties of material creation and in the material elements, the total material energy and the modes of material nature, sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna, as well as the unmanifested material nature and the false ego. Although he is one, he is present everywhere and he is also the transcendental supersoul, the cause of all causes, who is present as the absorber in the course of the hearts of all living entities. He is indicated as that which is pervaded and as the all pervading supersoul, but actually he cannot be indicated. He is changeless and undivided. He is simply perceived as the supreme Satchit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Being covered by the curtain of the external energy, to the atheist he appears non existent. Text 24. Therefore, my dear young friends, born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demonic nature and act without enmity and duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well wishers. Text 25. Nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything. The Lord is the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities for devotees, therefore, who are transcendental to all the modes of material nature. What is the use of following the principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification and liberation, which are all automatically obtainable under the influence of the modes of nature? We devotees always glorify the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore we need not ask for anything in terms of dharma, karma, artha, and moksha. Text 26. Religion, economic development, and sense gratification. These are described in the Vedas as three varga or three ways of salvation. Within these three categories are education and self realization, ritualistic ceremonies performed according to Vedic injunction, logic, the science of law and order, and the various means of earning one's livelihood. These are the external subjects matters of study in the Vedas, and therefore I consider them material. However, I consider surrender to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu to be transcendental. Text 27. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the well wisher and friend of all living entities, formally explained this transcendental knowledge to the great saint Narada. Such knowledge is extremely difficult to understand without the mercy of a saintly person like Narada. But everyone who has taken shelter of Narada's disciplic succession can understand this confidential knowledge. Text 28. Prahlada Maharaj continued, I received this knowledge from the great Saint Narada Muni, who is always engaged in devotional service. This knowledge, which is called Bhagavata Dharma, is fully scientific. It is based on logic and philosophy and is free from all material contamination. Text 29 and 30. That sons of the demons replied, Dear Prahlada, neither you nor we know any teacher or spiritual master other than Sanda and Amarka, the son of Sukracharya. After all, we are children and they our controllers. For you especially, who always remain within the place, it is difficult to associate with a great personality, dear friend. Most gentle one, would you kindly explain how it was possible for you to hear Narada? Kindly dispel our doubts in this regard. Thus, we end the Bhaktivedanta purport of Canto 7, Chapter 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prahlada Instructs His Demonic Schoolmates. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joy Mate. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Rajchandrik Mate, whenever you're ready, you can start, Mate.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Shivani Mataji, for reading all the translations. And thank you to all the devotees for assembling, giving your time so that we could sit here, discuss Bhagavatam. And thank you for the opportunity, Prabhuji. I'm going to be able to purify my tongue in that ways. We'll start with short prayers. ओमज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिले नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्याधीशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are doing Canto 7, Chapter 6. The chapter is entitled Prahlad Instructs His Demoniac Schoolmates. And we are on verse number uh, 20 to 30 today. So let's get started with a little bit brief recap. Here, Prahlad Maharaj has his teachers, Shanda and Amarka, and whenever they would get a little bit busy with their some other household responsibilities and leave the kids alone, Prahlad Maharaj, like a perfect devotee, would grab that opportunity and start preaching his schoolmates. And demoniac because everybody is the son of a demon. So this is why this is the whole thing that we have been studying, and Prahlad Maharaj has given a lot of instructions to his friends about bhakti. And when we are going on verse number 20 to 30, he's kind of concluding it right now. So we get started with verse number 20 to 23. This will be one of the important verses. If devotees could get some time and read the translation purport, it would be very beneficial. In this verse, we'll tackle two things in understanding. First is we'll be understanding in very short about Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So, what our understanding is generally sometimes we understand Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan as per their location, right? Brahman is the effulgence right outside the Brahman, that is Brahman. Paramatma is there in everybody's heart, my heart, your heart. So that's the location of Paramatma. And Bhagwan, he's in Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha Loka. So this is how we generally understand all these three concepts. But we also have to understand that this is absolutely the teaching as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. uh, they are all same, though they are different as we perceive them. So Prabhupada very often gives the example of a mountain, or devotees also give the example of a gulab jamun. If I see a mountain from very far distance, what I can see is the contour of the mountains. And that can be the Brahman understanding, because I see the mountain, but I don't know the details. Right? That can be the Brahman understanding. The more I move closer, when I move closer, I see like trees and all those things on it, on the mountain. It's Paramatma understanding. And when you go on that mountain, is actually when you realize how the mountain is. That would be Bhagavan understanding. To make it even simpler, as our devotees explain with the example of gulab jamun. When my eyes are closed, and if there is like hot gulab jamun coming in the room, I can smell, I can get the fragrance of the gulab jamun. So this would be equal to Brahman understanding about Krishna. And when I open my eyes and I look at it, I see how shiny it is. It is dipped in a juice of sugar and it looks beautiful, glorious look. That is the understanding of Paramatma. And further, when I'm actually going to pick up that gulab jamun and put it in my mouth, I have tasted the best thing possible. That's when I realize what the taste is like, and that realization would be compared to understanding Bhagavan realization. So our understanding is from the distance that we perceive it, right? When we say, oh, Brahman is wrong, Brahman is not wrong, Brahman is Krishna, we should not go for Brahman. Yeah, because devotees who aspire for Brahman unfortunately lose the opportunity of loving devotional service. Is the reason why devotees do not aspire for Brahman, but and they consider it as, oh, Brahman is as good as hell, but it is still Krishna. So Brahman and Paramatma and Bhagwan, all these concepts are to be understood in the way that they are all same, but they are different when we perceive them in different from a different position, right? So here Prabhupada is giving a little bit very short understanding about Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And then further, in this text is a combined text of 4 verses together. So text number 20 and 21 describes how infallible the Supreme Personality is. He is everywhere. He's all pervading. He is there from the higher planet to the most lower planet. He is there even in Brahmaji, he is there. He is there in the smallest atom possible that we cannot even see by our naked eyes. That way, he is there everywhere, though he is one, but he is still everywhere. Sometimes we understand how is this possible? It is not possible for humans like us with a low understanding. But for Krishna, everything is possible. He doesn't have to be localized in certain area because he is all pervading. Then further in verse number 22 and 23, Prabhupada is explaining other qualities also about Krishna, that he's everywhere, all pervading. He's also there in everybody's heart. So because he's there in everybody's heart, he is constantly being a witness of anything and everything that a living entity is doing. Then he is changeless, undivided. There is no change in Krishna. We never have ever seen a picture of Krishna in Mahabharata where he was old. Right? He is just like that. He cannot change. He cannot be born because he is ajanma. Right? He is perceived as Satchidananda. That's why Prabhupada goes on to explaining a little bit of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan understanding. And why are we not able to perceive Bhagavan in that beautiful way? Because we have Maya covering in front of our eyes, and we are unable to see Krishna in his real form. So, for atheist, he appears non-existent only. People say that there is just Dhua, there is no Krishna, there is no form. So that is how atheist would behave. And why are they behaving like this? Because Maya is covering them. So Prabhupada is saying that when Maya is overcome by bhakti for Krishna, then the Lord becomes visible to that person to the degree of the bhakti that person is showing. So, since the Lord can be realized only by bhakti, Prabhupada is stressing that bhakti should be made very steady and it should be without any obstacle. It should be undeviated and there should be no other ulterior motives to it. And how do we spread this bhakti? For that, Prabhupada is saying that can be spread when we show mercy to other friends also. So, how do we show mercy? We show mercy by telling them about Krishna. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janma Namante Jnanamam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sumahatma Sudurlabha. Very, very few people in their lifetime can even know me. So, if you give this knowledge of Krishna to anybody else, secondary other person, this is being very merciful towards them, because this opens their door for going back home, back to Godhead, to Krishna. We'll move on to verse number 24. Here, um, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, sort of concluding, this is why, my dear friends born with demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. So, what should be our goal? Our goal should not be, oh, I have to achieve my goal of becoming an MBA or CEO or an engineer or a doctor. These are materialistic aspects. The goal of the life is also not to go to Goloka Vrindavan. The goal of the life is to make Krishna satisfied. This is our goal. Once Krishna is happy, however, wherever Krishna wants, he can do, keep us and want us to do, we'll act like that. But Krishna should be happy. This should be our goal. And when we talk about making Krishna satisfied, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in 18.69 that preaching is the best service that you can do for me. Like the devotees who preach about my glories are my most favorite one, is what Krishna is saying. And no doubt Prabhupada is Krishna's most favorite devotee, because Prabhupada went out of the way, out of his bodily conditions, and then he spread the knowledge of Krishna uh, everywhere, like in East, West, everywhere he did that. So that is the kind of devotee Krishna wants us to be. That is how Krishna gets satisfied. Right? And here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told us that Yare Dekha Tare Kahe Krishna Upadesh. Wherever you go, wherever you see, whoever you see, give Krishna Upadesh, because that is the only way how you will provide mercy to others and also attract mercy from Krishna. So here, Prabhupada is saying that it is very, very necessary for every living entity to have three knowledges about Krishna. And what are those three knowledges? Prabhupada says that he is the supreme enjoyer, he is the proprietor, and he is the best well-wisher. So this we also understand from verse number 5.29 Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So there, Krishna is saying that I am the enjoyer, proprietor, and your best well-wisher. And whoever understands these three things and accepts these three things in his life, that person is going to be free from all the pangs of miseries. And that person will be the most peaceful. This verse is also called as the peace formula. What is the peace formula that Krishna is giving us? So it is very important that we spread this knowledge about Krishna by showing mercy to everyone. It does not matter who the person is. Everybody is allowed, is entitled to get the knowledge about Krishna. That's why there is a word in this text, Suradam, which means friendliness. When you describe Krishna or talk about Krishna, do Kirtan or Hari Katha, that shows how friendly, merciful nature a person has. Uh, People are generally ignorant. Hence, we preach with in a friendly manner, without discrimination, so that they can also get elevated to higher planetary systems, as in go back to Krishna Goloka. Verse number 25. In 25, the topic of discussion is that for Krishna, for a devotee, nothing is unobtainable. So this, with this understanding, we'll read it, understand it. Here, Prabhupada is explaining that a materialistic person wants a lot of things. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All these things he wants. He wants a little bit to excel in religiosity, a little bit economic development, social development. And that eventually, if moksha is coming, it's okay. If not coming, then also it's okay. But the senses are satisfied. This kind of attitude any materialistic person would have. But since the devotees, they glorify only the lotus feet of the Lord, for them this dharma, artha, kama, moksha is automatically obtainable. They don't have to do separate endurance for it. Because if Krishna desire, we get it. If he doesn't desire, we don't get it, but we still keep our motive one pointed only, which is serving the lotus feet of Krishna. So when uh, Prahlad Maharaj's friend would hear this, Kyare, you're saying that dharma, artha, kam, moksha is not important. But our teachers, Shand and Amarka, have been teaching us this thing. And they say that it is derived from Shastra. So what do you mean? Like, is it wrong that they're saying it's from Shastra? That's when Prahlad Maharaj in this conversation is explaining, no, it is not wrong. It is there in the Shastra. He says that I don't criticize them. It is approved for some people. But what is actually beneficial for a saintly person is to surrender to the Supreme Lord. That is what is the most important thing. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha has its own importance. And when you follow that, you can get elevated in such a way that you might start progressing in spiritual bhakti. But if you're not progressing in spiritual bhakti, then what is the point? So, verse number 26. In this, the important point over here of discussion will be that everybody has to surrender to the lotus feet of Vishnu. So, this we also hear from Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter. Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masucha. What is Krishna asking? Krishna is saying, leave everything and surrender unto me. So when Krishna is saying surrender unto me, that is very simple. Just surrender. There has to be no other unnecessary logic implied on it. Hmm? Here in this verse, there is a emphasis on three varga, which is religion, dharma, economic, artha, and sense gratification, kama. That is given a little bit of importance over here. A person um, should understand that for a material life, as much as this might be important, but it is not the goal of a human life. To just keep doing dharma, artha, kama, moksha is not even considered. This is not how it should be done. When we move on to verse number 27, in 27th verse, Prabhupada is saying that there is a very confidential knowledge that not everybody can understand. It is very difficult for people to understand, and that confidential knowledge can be understood only if you take the shelter of a devotee. And here, it is being emphasized for Narad Muni. Narad Muni is one of the greatest Mahajans we have. So under his disciplic succession, under his instruction, if a person is going to follow bhakti, that person can elevate spiritually. And here Prabhupada is also giving stress on following the lineage, like the parampara line. It is very necessary that you stay in the parampara to understand the in-depth knowledge about Krishna and myself, self-realization. It is very necessary to stay inside the parampara. When you step outside the parampara, there might be little confusions. So to very crudely understand this, if you want to know something about my family, you will have to ask somebody from my family, like who is there in her family, how many people are there, what they do. So then you will get a better understanding. But when you ask somebody, say for my neighbor, you might not get the whole understanding. This is why Prabhupada is saying that emphasis on parampara, following a disciplic succession, is very, very important. And the confidential knowledge that Narad Muni is giving here to Prahlad Maharaj is Sarvadharma Parityajam. And Prahlad Maharaj, while saying this, he's saying he's giving hope to his demoniac friends. Now the friends are demoniac, they're born in Daitya family. How will they go and reach Narad Muni? So this is why, what is he saying? That this knowledge came to me from Narad Muni. But even if you follow this knowledge, you can get out of the clutches of this Maya Devi. So this is why it is very hope-giving also. Now verse number 28. In 28 and 29, 30, we'll kind of do it together because it is the end of the chapter over here. Here, I'm sorry, 28, Prahlad Maharaj is telling to his friends that I have received this knowledge from Narad Muni. है ना? He follows the Bhagavad Dharma. And this is a fully scientific and logical philosophy. There is no understanding of theories over here. There is no Big Bang theory happening over here. They are logical facts which you can understand, and they are very scientifically proven, right? They are not made up theories. We have so many made up theories, that Darwin theory, first we were monkey, then we became humans. How is that even possible? But these are all theories. And here, Prahlad Maharaj is talking about logical, scientific facts given to him by Narad Muni. Now, a very important question that his friends raise over here. The sons of the demon speak at the end of the chapter, and in just two verses, they ask, it's like, we are confused. How is this possible? Our teacher has always been Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, and you are the son of the king. You always stay inside the palace. When and how did this happen that you got association of Narad Muni? Because we all come to the same school. We never got association of Narad Muni. And how and when did he tell you all these knowledges that you're sharing with us? This confusion, kindly help us understand, eradicate this confusion. And that's when next chapter is going to begin, where the chapter will be called as What Prahalad Learned in the Womb of Kayadu. So this is what how we'll learn from tomorrow. We'll end today over here. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,